In today's society, online dating is common, but what are the warning signs that you may be targeted for a scam? Today's guest is Joe Eweka. Joe is a criminal justice professional, security management specialist, project management professional, and the author of the book Confessions of a Lonely Lover: An Exploration of Online Dating Scams. I'm your host, Chris Parker, and this is the Easy Prey Podcast. Joe, thank you so much for coming on the Easy Prey Podcast today.
It's my pleasure, sir.
Can you give myself and the audience a little background about who you are and what you do?
Well, I'm originally from Nigeria. My name is Joe Eweka. I'm also an American citizen. I went to school, got my first 2 degrees at John Jay College of Criminal Justice, my first master's from there. And then I went on for my PhD program at Warden University. Thereafter, I attended another master's program at Strayer University in information technology. But my main profession is in criminal justice and law, specifically criminal procedure. I also have background in information technologies, as I indicated. I have licenses in a few fields, including real estate. I'm also certified by the Project Management Institute, PMI, as a project management professional. I am a volunteer now. I am no longer in law enforcement. I also used to be an investigator, as well as a compliance agent. Now I am a volunteer, religious volunteer, helping people on how to better their life, to deal with, the crisis, especially what we find ourselves during the pandemic. You usually familiar with people knocking on your doors every week, every day before, but now, because of the pandemic, as of love, for our fellow man. Our love is first of all for Jehovah God, but the second most important love for us is our love for fellow man. So we don't go from door to door in order to protect them, and our respect for the sanctity of life to also protect ourselves. But now we write you letters, call you on the telephone, send you text, to help you better understand what is going on around you and how to successfully deal with it. That's what I do now.
Gotcha. So what piqued your interest in online scams? Was there a particular event that happened?
Well, it was one of my brothers in Italy that invited me to join Flixer.com so we can communicate. This was at the time when calling other people in other countries was exorbitantly expensive.
Yeah.
So this was one way we could communicate regularly. So I joined, specifically to be able to communicate with my brother, one of my brothers there. And soon after that, I started getting invitations, I like your profile, or I like what you represent, can we get to know each other better? At first it was just friendship because it was both men and women. But then it progressed from there. And before I knew it, despite my own background in criminal justice, I fell for it. But I quickly realized that these were all scams. I need to put this in writing so that people will know what the dangers are. But at the same time, I needed to protect certain people. That is the reason why I changed the names.
So when it comes to online scams, let's walk through a list. I know you've got a list of online scams that you'd like to talk about. Let's work our way through that list.
Okay. I'm going to go into depth details about. Then I'll talk about the warning signs of that particular type and the do's and don'ts. Also define what it means. The last type of identity fraud, online dating scam that I'm going to talk about is what they call catfishing or catfish scams. The term here is specific to romance fraud. According to the Kaspersky's article that I mentioned earlier, I will quote what they say about this. It says, catfishing, and I quote, catfishing refers to someone creating a fictional persona or identity on a social media or dating site to target a specific victim. Besides financial gain, catfishing motivations can sometimes be simply to cause distress or harm, or possibly enable the perpetrator to carry out a fantasy or a wish fulfillment, unquote.
Mm-hmm.
This is perhaps one of the most dangerous of all. Why? Because they know who they are looking for, you specifically. They just want to take your money and cause you enormous pain just for fun. Now, if I may talk about the warning signs you should be looking for.
Absolutely.
Now, first, number one, scammers try very quickly to move you off the dating site or app that you met them so that there will be no record of them asking you for money, because that could get them into trouble, get them flagged for inappropriate behavior. So they try to take the conversation elsewhere to WhatsApp, emails, or text messages. Number two, the conversation quickly turns romantic. You've heard of the word hopelessly romantic. Pun intended, really.
Yep.
Because your romance is hopeless. It's not leading you anywhere except disaster. The person professes to love you early on in the relationship. How? How could that be? But some believe it. Number three, the criminals ask you many questions about yourself, but avoids giving direct answers to your questions. Or they just make up stories that sound too good to be true or too tragic to be real. Number four, scammers lie a lot. Always know that. And as such, they are likely to forget what they told you last week. Because somebody telling you the truth will always tell you the same thing. It doesn't matter when or how you ask it. But somebody lying to you may not remember what they said last week. So the advice here is that you should ask the same set of questions in different ways, days or weeks later, and then watch out for any inconsistency. And there will be inconsistencies. And because scammers usually work in teams, the person having a conversation with you today is likely totally different from the one you spoke with last week, although all of them pretend to be the same person, but they are different. So the answer the person you are talking to today, even though you think is the same person, but not, the answer he or she is going to give to you is going to be different than the one you got last week.
Mm-hmm.
Then the fifth thing you should look for is that the profile photos look too good to be true. It looks too professional. Yeah, in this world, people don't really care what is on the inside. They just get enamored by the facial appearance, which usually is deceiving. So as a result, scammers will get the most appealable looking man or woman and put it on their webpage. Besides, you may get someone who says she is a female is actually a guy.
Yep.
Or someone who says he's a male is actually a woman. So, but they put a picture there that appeals to you, just your perfect man or your perfect girl. Other than that deceptive look, there is very limited personal information on their profiles, if any. They don't put details of their personal life on the profile, except the ones that are made up. Sixth thing you should look for is that most professional scammers do not have real digital footprints, at least not under the name they make you believe they are. So while it is possible that some people really avoid putting their personal information on the internet, there are people like that, they just don't want to be on the internet. But be suspicious if you cannot find anything at all about the person on the internet besides the fake profile that they have on social media. Because even when you give your information to DMV or other reputable organizations, government organizations, post office is notorious for that. Before you know it, for instance, just try it one day, you move to another place, fill out a forwarding, slip to the post office. Before you know it, you're getting all kind of junk mail. How did they
Yeah.
know you were there? It's the government, the post office that sold you out, unfortunately. So it is very difficult not to find any information about anybody, but scammers try to make that happen. So what you need to do is the profile picture that you see, do a reverse search on it on the internet to see if it matches the name the person tells you he or she is being called. Number 7, scammers often use borrowed text. In the academia, we call it plagiarism. That is when you use someone else's words verbatim, or even sometimes when you paraphrase it, the words are still very close together, or use their ideas without giving the original author credit. So scammers do that. They see something that is catchy, they copy it and send it to all their targets. Or the scammers may be in a team and the team decide this is what they are going to be using that works. So all members of the same team will use the same word across several social websites or apps. So what you need to do is copy the block of text messages or email that the person sent you, the one you think is too good, so poetic, copy it and paste it and use reverse search and see if it matches other websites using exactly the same wordings.
Yeah, if you like their bio details, you copy and paste that, and you're going to find the same exact thing under other names and
Exactly,
other entities.
because there are websites that are dedicated to exposing scammers. So somebody has reported it, so they may have it there. Then this guy is up to no good or this girl is up to no good.
Yeah.
Number 8, scammers avoid video calls. Why? They will never do a video call with you where you can see them clearly. Even if they agree to a video chat, something is going to appear to be wrong with the camera. That is guaranteed. Because doing a video call with you is antithetical to to their own objective.
Yeah.
It's against their objective because their objective is to defraud you. But if they do a video call with you, they defraud you later, then you can identify who did it. They don't want that. So that is why they will never reveal their true identity and allow that. Number 9.
Oh, I want to interject on that one.
Yeah.
One of the things that I worry about in that advice, but I think it's currently good advice, is when as deep fake technology is getting better and better.
Yes.
At some point, they're going to be able to do real time fake videos, and at that point, I'm like, oh,
right. But even
it becomes
now,
more complicated. But right now, it's still
right.
good.
Right now, you are correct. There are some that are able to do that now. The tech whiz, they are able to do that. You're correct. But for the most part, that technology and the ability to use it is not commonplace yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least you can look for that for now, as a warning sign. Also, some will say, for instance, for countries that may still use, postal, what do you call it, postal money order.
Yep. Avoid Western Union.
Yeah, avoid Western Union. Exactly. They'll send you forged postal order, post office order, and they say deposit this amount in your account because it takes so long, here to do it, but it's quicker there since it is drawn in your country. Deposit it in your account, then withdraw the cash and buy gift cards or Visa cards and send to them. You deposit that in your account. Your bank thinks it is genuine, and then you are immediately able to withdraw some money. I don't know how soon you can withdraw the money. You withdraw the money from it, and later on, when it goes to the exchange, it's going to be returned because it's fake. They will know.
Yep.
And then your bank now, debits your account for the amount you withdrew. But that's not all. You have committed a crime, including bank fraud. And then you could be held responsible for that too. So that is why that is very serious and you should not fall for that. Number 11, the warning signs. Now, the do's and don'ts. Number 1, do not accept friend requests from people you do not know on social media, site, or app. Never send cash to anyone and never send gift cards to anyone because you never get it.
Yeah.
At least sometimes if you use your credit card and you are proactive enough and you immediately find out that it was fraud, you can contact your bank. They may be able to get the money back, or they even give you the money back even if they don't get it back. Number 2, do not reveal your sensitive personal information on social media, dating websites, or apps. Like I said before, never put your real date of birth on any social media, period. Number 3, do not click on any links or downloads in emails or text messages sent to you or in the profile biographies on the dating website or other social website or apps, which seem totally unrelated to the conversation you're having, the link. And my recommendation is to always use the computer. Most people use handheld devices, phones, and tablets today, but why that is very convenient, but the disadvantage in that is that you cannot hover over the links with your mouse.
Yeah.
Because you use a computer, you hover over the links, it will reveal the URL of that link. And then you can compare that URL with where this information is purportedly directing you. And if they match, it's genuine. Or if they don't match, it is a problem. Delete it immediately. Number 4, do not have any false sense of security just because you were the one that initiated the contact. So, you joined this dating website, you look at this guy, he's cute, the girl is beautiful, but you say, can we get to know each other, or whatever language you use? Just because you were the one that initiated it does not mean you're safe, because some cyber criminals, they set the trap and then go and wait for the victims to come to them, just like any predator, most predators. They wait, crocodile, for instance, a lion, wait for you to come. And then just before you realize it's too late, you take the bait and they will devour you. Number 5, beware of too many compliments, especially when the compliments are flirtatious. Also, you might want to copy and paste the flattery compliments you like we indicated earlier. Copy and paste such flattery compliments into search engines like Google to see if the same exact words appear on websites that expose scammers. Number 6, if you must use a dating website, which I strongly advise against, make sure all your communications are on the site's platform, not via email, not phone calls, not video calls, not text, not WhatsApp, just on that site's platform, so that if there's any inappropriate behavior, you can report it to the administrator of that site for further investigation, and they have evidence there.
Yeah, because they'll know if this person is having the same conversations with multiple people, they can see it there.
Absolutely.
I've often heard that scammers will often, as soon as they have someone that they've connected with, they'll delete the the profile like that day.
Right. As a matter of fact, that has happened. In my book, the reason there was a time in the preface where I said I decided to write a book about this after I had been born, after I realized that not just one, but multiple scammers. Then I need to write a book about it. And then I wrote it, and then other things were happening in my life, so I just left it there. And then by the time I then began to edit, the book to add more, commentaries that explain certain things that were not clear, I checked some of those links out. Some were no longer there. They had been deleted. And I don't know if it was as a result of me reporting those issues to the administrators. I don't know. Or maybe there are other people that reported it after me and then, or before me, and then they decided, enough is enough. They either choose to leave or the administrators banned them. I don't know. Now, to continue with the do's and don'ts, if you must have online dating, again, which I strongly advise against, do not rush. Ask a lot of questions. Repeat the same questions in different ways days or weeks later, and take note of any inconsistencies. Number 8, cut off all communication with anyone who appears suspicious immediately. You may also need to report the person to the dating website or app where you met that scammer for further investigation. Number 9, do not send any compromising photos or videos of yourself or of someone else to anyone, please. Especially someone you have never even met. The same intimate photos or videos will be used to extort money from you later. Or the scammer may just upload them to the internet just to hurt you after they've taken all they can financially from you, or just for fun. Number 10, scammers usually do not meet in person, as we talked about earlier. However, if someone wants to meet with you in person and you agree, even if he or she is a scammer or not, it really doesn't matter. You should always meet in a public place until you get to know the person well. Also, ask that person, scammer or not, whether you can bring someone else along with you, especially on your first date. Is somebody who really cares about you and wants to have a long relationship with you, marriage or whatever else, will not object to you bringing someone else with you. If the scammer agrees that you could bring someone else along, your first dates, by all means do so for your safety. Furthermore, even when you have someone else go with you, both of you could be in trouble. Both of you could not come back. So make sure that you tell your other friends and family members where you are going, when you are going, and who you are going to meet with. Number 11, never go to another country to meet someone you have never met in person before. The dangers of such a move go beyond just losing your life savings. You could lose your life or become a sex slave in a foreign land. Number 12, as I talked about before, do reverse image search or reverse image search. Google is so good at that. Post an image, even of yourself, post it there. Google, if you've ever had an image, a picture of that picture somewhere on the internet or something that looks more like it, Google is going to find it.
Yep, Google knows everything.
Yes. The most powerful company in the world, basically, in my view. But again, I'm just a nobody. Now, make sure you do these lookups, the reverse email and the reverse image lookups before getting involved with anyone you meet online. Yes. Number 13. Yes. Do a background check on someone you've decided is a good potential for you before you get emotionally involved. Certainly before meeting him or her. Number 14, if you want to date, this is my recommendation. Again, I'm old-fashioned too, so I'm not imposing my ideas on you. You're free to do whatever you want. But in my honest little view, if you want to date, it is better to date someone you already know. It is often said that a bird in hand is better than 1,000 birds in the forest. And lastly, number 15, report scammers to the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, and to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome. We'll make sure to link to both the everywhere that we can report. What is the name of your book if people want to read it?
Oh, sure. I had come not to promote myself, but to talk about things that will help other people. But the name of my book is Confections of a Lonely Lover. And the subtitle is Exploration of Online Dating Scams. It's by Joe Eweka, PMP, which is Project Management Professional. I'm also known in the music industry as African Joe. If you Google African Joe, you get about 85, 86 songs that I wrote and performed and produced myself. I have 7 albums, music albums.
You're a Renaissance man.
No, I just thank Jehovah God for giving me certain skills.
I think that's a perfect note to close out this episode. Joe, thank you so much for coming on the Easy Pray podcast today.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Easy Pray podcast. If you know someone who might be targeted for an online dating scam, pass this episode along to them. Notes and a transcript of this episode with Joe Eweka can be found at easypray.com/102.